we always ask for real talk. I'm talking raw.
I think I vacuumed the living room twice
Clean his house
to avoid having to pick up the phone. And I was like in restaurants, I was in construction, I was a commercial fisherman.
I was making really good money. Basically, we were just afraid to lose my salary.
It was like a $30,000 monthly income swing.
Were you talking him off the ledge every week?
Work on your mental attitude.
Is it possible for someone starting brand new, no skills, to become a Brad and Patty Allan?
But it was all cold calling.
There is no training, no podcast that will compensate for no inaction.
It's like my dad was in sales. It's like, yuck, that seems slimy. Knowing that it may work, but it also may not work.
No family,
Yeah.
like zero. Were you working? Were you actually dialing and doing work?
So I am no stranger to hard work, but we'd never been in sales.
We never would have heard of Batman, AKA Brad Allan, had he not had Patty. Welcome to Enter the Haven. My name is Mac Agabor. I'll be your host today. I'm excited for this opportunity. It's almost like getting to talk to your celebrity crush, which is pretty cool. We have two people here today that not only I respect, I knew from the get-go they were the people to talk to. And that was before I knew who they really were. So we always like to do it a little different on these podcasts. Brad and Patty, we know you've been on multiple. You're famous, if you will. So we always ask for real talk. I'm talking raw. Don't digest it. Let us digest it, right? And so if I can just start off by saying this, here's the truth. People look at Brad and Patty. They say, listen, this is the modern day Bruce Wayne. This guy, he got the hair. He danced. He has a trophy wife. I mean, he has it all. Like, is this guy even human? The question, let me just ask this off the bat, Brad. In today's day and age, is it possible for someone starting brand new, no skills, to become a Brad and Patty Allan? Just real talk.
I would say that well, first of all, Mac, thanks for having us on. And that was very nice introduction. And I don't know how we keep finding each other every time we're in the same room. It's like, we just keep we end up sitting at the same table. I don't know. There must be some chemistry because wherever we go, if you're there, we're going to end up breaking bread. So appreciate you having us on. Can anybody do this? Well, I didn't have any background in this. My background, I mainly was blue collar. And I was in restaurants, I was in construction, I was a commercial fisherman, like the whole deadliest catch thing. So I am no stranger to hard work. And I think that's important because it is work. Nobody's going to tell you to get out of bed when you're an entrepreneur. If you're an independent agent, then you have independence to stay in bed or get up at 4 a.m. So, I think that work ethic, both Patty and I have always, no shortcuts. So if anybody's looking for the get rich quick, whatever, shortcut, that leads to selling property and casualty. You just don't. So I would say no to that. And then after that, just be a student of your craft. We love learning. Our background, after we went from blue collar into white collar, Patty used to shag balls at a golf course too. So, we grew up on the blue collar and then it got lighter and lighter blue until it was like we were in office space. And we were just the pointy-haired boss in the corner office running in and out of meetings. But we had never been in sales. It's like my dad was in sales. It's like, yuck, that seems slimy. And talking people into stuff they don't need, that's not for me at all. I don't respect or trust people in sales, never have. So I really never looked at this as sales. And I think that mindset has really helped us. So having that work ethic, being a little fearless, like knowing that it may work, but it also may not work, and still just pushing through and trusting the process. So I just got close to people that I like wanted to emulate.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, I don't know this stuff at all. I've got a license, but I've never actually used it. You know, I went 14 months with a license, never sat with a prospective client, not a legitimate one. Yeah, I sat with my firstborn, and at the time he wanted to think about it. And
This was your firstborn child.
Right. Yeah. And that was the only person I'd sat with in 14 months. And I thought, well, thinking about it's not a no. So I'm going to take that as a win. I didn't even get paid for like 16 months with a license.
Wow.
Until I got to FFL. And when I first went into this industry, Patty's like, are you going to be their CIO? It's like, no, I'm going to sell insurance. She's like, oh my God. Well, at least you're not sitting on the couch. So that's good. I mean, get awesome. Get your butt off the couch.
Let me ask you this, Brad. I know you're gonna drop some great nuggets today. But here's what we know. The nuggets you drop, I think if we don't know the story behind the story of what made Brad and Patty Allan, two things happen. A brand new person, they either overestimate what they can accomplish in a month, or they underestimate what they can accomplish in a year. So if you wouldn't mind, and again, I'm going to get to you, Patty, because she's Catwoman. He's Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, that's right.
She's Catwoman, right?
Yep.
And by the way, the reason we keep connecting is because I'm Robin. Like we just kind of.
There you go. I love it.
But take us in the journey. And before I go there, guys, I want to let you understand, you're on this podcast, on this training. There is no training, no podcast that will compensate for no inaction. It's just not, right? So you have to do something. But take us in a journey. Where did you come from? Because if you're a brand new person looking at this, don't make the rookie mistake of taking notes on what they did. That's okay. But if you're serious, the scavenger hunt today is how Brad and Patty think. That's the nugget. So take us on the journey. First, where were you born? When did you guys get together? What jobs did you do that marinated you both in preparation for FFL?
So I was born and raised in the Pacific Northwest, so in the greater Seattle area. And Patty was raised in Pueblo, Colorado. And she moved to Seattle to actually get away from the extreme weather of Colorado, where it's so, cold, hot, bright, really dry air. And she liked the moisture. Not a lot of people moved to Seattle for the rain, but Patty did. And I was working at Boeing at the time, and I was teaching a class on continuous quality improvement. So like getting the waste out of a manufacturing process, lean. I'm a Six Sigma green belt. I manage Six Sigma black belts. We drove waste out of environments. So we drove out like 650 million of waste at Washington Mutual Bank. I can say that because they're like not in business anymore. But she was in class and she was wearing a leopard outfit like this. And I couldn't get there's like 100 people in this class and I couldn't keep my eyes off her. It was really distracting. And so when the break time came, I followed her right into the break room. Not too creepy, but probably a little creepy. And I'm sitting there pretending to like dunk my tea bag, and I don't drink tea. I'm sitting here just like, trying to make small talk with her. Anyway, just like knocked me off my feet. And so I was single. She was in a relationship. 6 months later, I came back from Europe. I was on my way to find the next Mrs. Allan. I totally struck out. I was in Ireland, Amsterdam, France. Couldn't find anybody. The day I got back, I saw Patty for the second time. And tomorrow will be our 16th wedding anniversary.
That's incredible.
So that's kind of like how we met and our backstory. So once we started dating, game over. It's like, are you kidding me? My first time my dad met Patty, he's like, Slicko, because that's my nickname, Slicko. It's like, Slick, you totally outkicked your coverage here. It's like, I'm your son. That's not even nice. He's like, yeah, but true. It's still the case. Yeah.
That's awesome. So you guys got married. This was in Seattle. And workforce. Were you still working Washington Mutual, and what did you do for them?
Yeah, so I was a senior vice president of all infrastructure operations, so data centers, desktops, servers, networks, every blinking light on the planet. I had 1,100 employees, and I was making bank. I was two from the top there. I was like a big fish in a big pond, and the pond just dried up. And as it was getting close to, like, the signs were on the wall, this is 2008, banking, financial crisis. As we were getting closer and like, we're going to start a family together, it's probably best if we don't have all our eggs in one basket. So Patty went into the consulting world, and for the last 15 plus years, she's been a senior technology project manager doing global technical implementations for like T-Mobile,
Microsoft.
yeah, big names, right? And she just came on full time to the agency in August. And since she's come on full time, we've developed a process which has put us as the #1 fixed indexed annuity couple in the country.
What were you
So-
waiting for, Brad? She was the best recruit.
It's a really good question.
That's a great
Actually,
transition. Let me ask you this, Patty. You've seen Brad doing what he's been doing. He's called Slickle for a reason. And tell us, why did you resist joining sooner? And for those that maybe have spouses, and second question, if you can add to that, how do you help teams work together? How would you advise a spouse or a team to recruit their spouse to work together?
Well, basically, we were just afraid to lose my salary. I was making really good money, and I wasn't.
Let's be real. I mean, 6 figures plus $500,000-ish.
Yeah, it was 6 figures. And
so that does exist, right? There's spouses where one is basically making the bank and the other can go ahead and do their entrepreneurial.
Right. Yeah. And so that was the split. He does the entrepreneurial stuff and I do the straight line, let's keep money in the bank and, and then finally we just figured it out. Let's just do it. And it's been fun. I mean, we work really well together. And I think the best thing that you can do is have a division of labor. So you're not like getting into the spouse's business. I mean, we have discussions about how your day went. What did you work on? Did you get this done? That kind of thing. So there is a division of duties. He goes out and he sells, and I stay back and I catch everything that he throws back at the back office, whether it be pending business, annuities, debt recovery, working with clients, following up with clients or staff, agents, that sort of thing. So payroll, taxes. And so there's definitely a division of labor, and we don't cross that, which makes it workable. We're very highly analytical, highly competitive people, and we don't fear success.
Good.
Every day we wake up, we have a plan and we have a strategy. We have consistent activities that we continually do. We have a schedule, and we talk with each other throughout the day. We keep each other informed. I say, hey, this client called, they're, trying to get more insurance. I'm going to put you on the calendar for such and such. So I have access to his calendar. I can put people on his calendar when needed, that sort of thing. And we're just always communicative. We've always been that way, but we were a little concerned. It's like, well, what's this going to look like? We're married. I don't want you to get mad at you, but you didn't do your job, that kind of thing. But
which does happen.
Yes.
Now, hindsight, Brad, would you have done this sooner, or had you been pushing her to come sooner? In hindsight, Patty, would you have made the jump sooner?
Yeah, considering how well it's been going, I would have done it way sooner. But like I said, we were just not at that level of comfort where we could let go of my full-time job.
I'd say the same. I mean, it took a while because of fear. It was like a $30,000 monthly income swing instead of instead of bringing in a certain amount's going out because the bills are still there. And so it took me a minute to sharpen my pencil. It's like, if everything just like totally melts down, can I cover off 30K all by myself every month? Do I believe it? Do I believe in what we're doing? The answer is yes.
Damn.
Now it's
agree that galvanized you almost to get your game right. Now everything is to a T. So let's kind of piggyback a little bit. Let's talk about, we know Brad and Patty as they are now. Brad, tell us, we got brand new agents that are on here, seasoned agents. So you're both going to get something. How was it starting off? Now, you mentioned a little bit about your license. So you were in WAMU or Washington Mutual.
Yep.
Tell us about, from that transition, where that led to life insurance, because you hated sales.
Correct. Yeah. So nobody would hire me because I was too like everything.
Senior,
yeah. It's like, we don't have a senior vice president job. We can't match that salary. You would like not be happy here and you just would end up so nobody would hire me. So I ended up becoming an entrepreneur and starting a couple of software companies. And I was a chief operating officer because I didn't want anything to do with sales. So I did CFO, CIO, CTO. I was everything except CFO and like the chief marketing officer kind of thing. I didn't want to do sales. And I still don't, honestly. I don't really consider what we do in sales because it's just a mindset thing for me. I don't look for a sale when I sit with somebody. I look to solve a problem. That's in my wheelhouse. As an IT guy, all these years, super analytical, always trying to figure out the perfect solution to the requirements. That's my jam right there. It's like, oh, you show me the problem. I'm pretty creative. I got a lot of tools and my confidence is growing every day. And so it's like, unless you just plain can't make a decision or you don't like me, we're going to do some business today because I'm going to put you in a better spot and let me show you how. So, my first 3 weeks, I helped 19 families after going 14 months without helping one.
How did that happen? I mean,
that was really nice. Because
14 months, no family, like zero. Were you working? Were you actually dialing and doing work?
Oh yeah, he was dialing like crazy.
They had a system where they tracked every dial. You had to dial into the system, and then you made your dial, so they knew how many dials, contacts, sets, everything. It was called Griffin.
And Patty, real quick, what are you thinking while this guy goes out? His salary is not there anymore, and 14. I mean, we got wives today. If you don't make a sale in a month, I mean, they're like, "Come on now." What were you thinking?
Well, I was glad he was off the couch. And I was thinking, well, at least he's trying something
and not drinking.
Yeah. So there was some focus there, and but it was all cold calling,
Yeah.
No leads.
No leads.
No leads.
No.
Yeah.
And then when it came to FFL, there's all these warm leads where actually people are actually requesting information. And he was so funny. He's like, well, gee, how many can I buy? And they're like, as many as you want. And he's like, really?
I'll take them all.
I'll take them all.
And I've never changed that. I mean, when I got to Arizona, they're like, there's no leads here. It's like, that's okay. I'll figure it out. And so, now I still run face-to-face 100%. I have no lead problem.
People don't know, Brad, because you came from, I'm talking cold calling. And they're agents that come in today and they say, oh, the guy said that they're not interested. They don't remember. What's your response to that? Where they don't know the other side of life insurance is just going cold.
Yeah. So, I mean, I get it. When I started out, I was buying just internet leads from EverQuote. And I like having a push instead of a pull lead strategy. So I set up a campaign, keep it in a budget, and I just let them drip in, and I get enough drips where it's like a flow, and then I can get into a consistent schedule and flow myself. But it's still, when you've got a $7 lead and it's the wrong phone number and you've only been at this for 30 days, oh man, it just bugged the shit out of me. It's like so many ways I could have spent $7. I spent like an hour thinking about all the ways I could spend $7. So fast forward 4 years, what you focus on will grow. So if you're focused on the lost opportunity of $7, that's going to grow. So do you want to give the negative energy more energy, or do you want to nip it in the bud? I know it's hard. I know it's really hard. And, Monday morning quarterback and all this, I could have, should, would have. If you can somehow future trip and just say, I now get it. I rise above the noise, chargebacks, no shows, think about it, cancellations, broken promises, lead budgets, blah, blah, blah. I don't really care. So whatever the noise is, just know that you've already won, because the only way you lose is if you give up.
Yeah.
I like that. We're going to get into the annuity stuff as well as structure, but I want to ask this first. You got in, were you just like balls to the walls? Were you good at it at first? I mean, people think you just were born for life insurance. I mean, you were like from planet Krypton, and you found your people.
Yeah.
For you. Some folks are getting up. They're afraid of the phones. They think you need to be prepared and born into life insurance.
Okay, I have a story.
Yeah.
So he was getting ready, right? He was watching these videos on objections and, doing all the training. And I said, okay, it's time. He's like, no, I think I need to watch it one more time. I said, just get on the phone, would you, and make a call.
So yeah, not great. I think I vacuumed the living room twice
Clean his house
to avoid having to pick up the phone. It's like, I should watch that Matt Smith video one more time. And she's like, no, come on, get over yourself. So yeah, I really bad. I mean, but compared to never sitting with anyone or even having a lead, it was night and day. Now I actually had people that wanted my help. I was just afraid to help them. I was kind of hoping they would show me. It's like, oh God, please don't be home. I don't even know what I would do if you were. Right. And that gets easier with time. But yeah, I was scared to death that I would make the wrong recommendation and put people in a worse spot. I mean, I genuinely care about people. I really do. Yeah. And so the fact that we can't do business unless we put them in a better spot. I mean, the only thing we're really graded on is suitability. Sure. So unless we can put somebody in a suitable situation, we shouldn't be touching it at all. 100%. And so that gives me a lot of confidence and peace of mind that I can be a little braver maybe than I deserve to be. So
what did you do? How did you overcome that? Vacuuming the house 400 times and starting. Right. When did you see leeway? Did that ever stop? And at what time in your business did that stop?
It's never stopped. So I'm still anxious all the time. I'm an IT guy by trade. So I'd rather hang out in a cold, dark data center than sit next to a warm human being asking me questions about insurance. So I want
you to hear this, y'all. Sorry for interrupting, Brad, but I'm purposely excavating the origins of Brad and Patty because they're normal. The difference between Brad and Patty is they went for it. They decided to be uncomfortable. So anything specific that you did, were there platforms at FFL? I know we have live dials now. What were you doing to actually jump in the pool?
So I'm a little bit of courage and maybe a little bit more of stupidity. So I'm not so much on the aim. I'm really more on the ready, aim, fire. There's really not much aiming. I'm just ready to go. And if somebody tells me, hey, are you willing to try this? I usually say yes. I'm always willing to volunteer to try something. So the first time that there were live dials, and I'm still freaked out about dialing, by the way, I said, sure, put me on camera. I know I'm probably going to look like an idiot, but that's the only way I'm going to learn. Right. So I watched my videos over and over and over. And it's like, oh, I can't believe that my hair was like that. And I said the wrong thing and I mispronounced that. And that was plural, not singular. What an idiot. Spelling, grammar, super critical. Right. But I grew. Mm-hmm. And so I learned really quick that, oh, okay, well, as soon as I feel comfortable, I'm in the wrong spot. I need to always be moving to the place of being uncomfortable. And there's always another level. No matter what it is you're doing, as soon as you're dominating, you're in the wrong space.
Have you always been that way, Brad? Like you actually saw discomfort trying to go just in a different field, like you're IT, but that's always been your demeanor.
Correct. Yes. I am like Dennis the Menace. If I have too much time on my hands, I'll get to mischief. So I need to like stay busy. And like I said, I enjoy helping people. I'm not afraid of big numbers. I'm not afraid of looking like an idiot. My heart's in the right place. You will never say he didn't try hard enough and he didn't care. Because of that, I know I don't need any experience. That's just the way I'm wired. I definitely will care, and good luck trying to outwork me.
So what did you do your first month? How many families did you help? And then what did it look like? Did it teeter off? Did you think it was just rookie luck?
Yeah.
How did you create some consistency after the first stage?
Yeah. So first month, about 20 families. First 6 months, 80 families. So do the math. I like got cocky. I thought, oh, well, this is easy. I cracked the code. I can turn it on and turn it off. Big mistake. There is no turning it on and turning it off. You turn it on and you break the knob and you throw the knob in the ocean. There's no off. There's no off. I mean, you're the owner, you're the boss. This is your company, your livelihood. I mean, I always say if you've got momentum, it would be like Kobe Bryant running in to slam dunk the winning bucket and he runs out of bounds. It's like, what the hell are you doing?
Right.
We were just about to win and you ran out of bounds. There's no time off, right? You can rest when you're dead. So it's like, I just like go, go, go. And I wrote 2 annuities in the first 6 months.
Okay.
And I did what I was doing and I split them both and I was happy to get half of something than all of nothing. But that kind of like, those were bigger commissions. And so it's like, annuities, I should probably look at that more. Wrote 6 in 2019, then wrote 70 in 2020. Wow. And that's when I became the #1 annuity producer for FFL was 2020. It's like, no, I think I actually have this dialed in. And I'm just going to stay in my lane. I'm not going to talk about stuff I don't know. But what I do know, I know it really well because I don't miss training. I poured over all the literature, all the companies, websites, portals, brochures, everything.
One of the complaint people have, Brad, is, hey, you're a big company, the #1 in your field. Where is the place that I can get it all? Now, I've heard it from you, Chris Casarez, all these top annuity producers, that they were students of their craft. Did you just fall into these annuities? How did you find them? And what did you see as the difference between doing 70 and 6? Like, what was the difference maker?
Yeah, it was confidence. So that's the main thing. Whoever asks the best questions wins. So I remember that in 2019, the year that I did 6, which is triple what I did in 2018, because I only did 2 in 2018. So I tripled my output. I did 6. But I remember going to Sean Ruggiero. He was head of AMS, Sean Ruggiero. And I said, okay, I've got 72 annuity opportunities I'd like to talk with you about. He's like, what are you talking about? It's like, well, I've been gathering them up and I'm ready. He's like, how old are these? And it's like, I don't know, from my mortgage protection appointments, my life appointments, final expense, I've just been asking the golden question, like, what do you have that acts like life insurance? And I've been collecting all the data and now I'm ready to act on it. It's like, dude, that ship has sailed. They are not going to be sitting down with you. You have to, annuities are no different than life in that it's an emotional sale and that emotion will leave the room. Time is not your friend. So when you see it, all you need to do is know what you're looking for by asking good questions. Best person, the one that wins asks the best questions. And I find almost all of my annuities historically through life appointments, just by asking good questions.
I've heard people say you should go buy specific annuity leads. Would you agree, if you're doing your job, you should be helping at least one person a month with an annuity? You should be, if you ask the question, was that fair statement?
I would say probably 2 a month would be better.
Like,
I'm not one to like do softball goals. It's like, hey, we lost 3 fingers in the factory last year. Let's see if we can like lose 2. It's like, no, I don't want to lose any fingers. The goal should be 0 fingers lost, right? So if you're like at 0 annuity production now, if you're asking the right questions and you're sitting with enough people, which is key, you need a lot of opportunities because you'll be really bad at first until you're not. Everybody is. The more you do something, repetition breeds familiarity. The more familiar you are, the better you will be. Your confidence will go up, but you need more chances. So you need to sit with a lot of people asking the silver and gold question. But there's no reason that you shouldn't be writing at least a couple of months.
So tell us this, brand new person on this call, not even made a dial yet.
Yeah.
How does a rookie, I'm talking novice,
Yeah.
how do they position it to be able to actually win from annuity? How did you do it? Like to actually sell one?
So I went to all the training, and I heard loud and clear, ask the right questions. So like, when your financial inventory, what do you have that acts like insurance? Say it's a mortgage protection appointment and you're trying to cover somebody's bank note, like a couple $100,000. We're going through your budget, we're going through health, and then it's like, well, what do you have that acts like insurance, that would pay off this bank note if you were to pass away? And it's like, well, I have an old 401k. And it's like, oh, old 401k. So I would circle that, and I would call my upline and say, hey, I think I found an opportunity. Would you sit with me and do the presentation and the illustration? And we'll just split this thing down the middle. And for the first couple, it was like I didn't really have a well-formed opportunity, because I was just like, super excited to think I had one. And then once it's like, no, that's not real. No, that's not real. Look for this, and this. Then it's like I started asking better questions, and I started serving up better opportunities to actually close. And after a couple, I didn't want to leave my commission on the table with my upline anymore. So it's like I wanted to learn what I was doing to get all of my commission. And then it's just like anything else. The more you do, the more you'll get.
I love it. Now let's transition real quick. I've heard him say a couple of things. First, there are people here that have a high net worth network. Nonetheless, the lead to get an annuity is just go through life. That's the door to get through annuities. If you run enough life appointments, you'll be fine. Now, I also heard, and correct me if I'm wrong, Brad, that the strategy that you just started with internet leads, and then you diversified. Right. I've heard it said the difference, between internet leads is like you're going to hunt versus, when you have the mailers, you're planting, right?
Right.
You go out in a certain season, the plants will show up. So that's how you became who you are. You kind of sharpen your sword in the basics. And then as you got better and better, you were able to actually get higher intent leads, if you will.
Exactly. Yeah, no, that's exactly right. So my lead budget from like the first year was about 500 a week.
Okay.
And at 500 a week with whatever leads I could get my hands on, in my first full year, I still did 515 families. So I hit Hall of Fame with basically internet leads, but I was working really hard. But that's okay, because I was making a lot of mistakes and getting better. I wasn't injuring anyone, but there was a lot of opportunity costs in there. I wasn't very efficient. I didn't ask the right questions. I didn't sell anything with indexing. It was basically term and whole life. But I knew that the indexing things were out there: index universal life, fixed index annuities. And in my spare non-income producing activity time, I would study up and get better and get better. And then I would lose less of those opportunities. And once you've run a 4-minute mile, you're not going to be happy running less than it's like, oh, it was 4 minutes, 10 seconds. It's like, dude, once you crack 4-minute mile, you should like always crack 4-minute mile. You already cracked the code. So now you're just a slacker. That's what I mean. I mean, are you hurt? You're not hurt? Then you're just lazy. If you know the answers, why aren't you crushing it? Right? There's no going backwards.
I love it. Two things he said. Listen, he didn't focus on sales because it's not about sales. He focused on helping people, and the sales came. He is the number one annuity guy. He's not focusing on annuities. He's focusing on helping the client through a life appointment, and the annuities come, right? Notice how you get two by getting through, right? So I heard someone say that the financial inventory is a sale detector. It's like it just detects it. How has the financial inventory helped you uncover the opportunities that exist to serve clients?
Yeah, we would definitely not be sitting here today if I wasn't consistent with the financial inventory we created together. So I had the template that was given to me when I started. I had a script that was given to me when I started. That lasted like one day. It's like, no, that's not me. I would never ask that question. I don't talk that way. Scripts are for robots. I'm not a robot. So, I mean, it's like, hi, here's my name, here's where I work, and here's what I do. Here's why I'm calling. Here's how I can help you. I mean, the minute somebody talks back to you, there's no script. Otherwise, you just sound like a robot.
Right.
So I would say, a script is maybe good for 5 seconds to keep them engaged long enough to actually have a conversation. And then it's all about overcoming objections. It's the same in the house. Super consistent approach, asking detailed questions. So like our financial inventory that Patty and I developed together is what's household income after tax. And that's okay. I mean, we can do the tax in our head. We've sat with the thousands of people. Don't worry about it. So then it's what is your,
in other words, right?
exactly.
Okay.
And then like, what's your mortgage or rent? What are your utilities? Don't go grab your phone bill or your utility bill. I mean, let's just like get through this pretty quick. So it's like, what do you make? What do you spend? What's left over at the end of the month? If I say, how do you have a car payment? And they say, yeah, 600. It's like, how many car payments do you have left? Oh, only 3. Oh, so we have about 600 a month opening up in 3 months. Perfect. I'm always looking for ways to put people in a better spot by protecting their assets, whether it's cash flow, a physical piece of like a real estate, or, in any estate, you have assets and liabilities. And the things that we help families with are assets that protect the risk of, the liabilities biting the estate, like the bank taking back the house in the mortgage protection appointment. So feel confident that you're putting people in a better spot if you're doing it right. But that financial inventory, by asking both the silver and the gold question. So when you go through traditional training, you hear gold question, gold question, gold question. Like, what do you have that acts like insurance that would, transfer at the time of death to protect your family from liabilities, like the house going back to the bank? The silver question, and I'm patenting this, a trademark it, copyright it right here, right now, write it down. Silver question is what do we have for liquid cash? So like if you look in the bank any given Tuesday, what do you normally see? Household checking savings account. And I ask that for 2 reasons. Because I want to know, well, maybe even 3. I normally say 2, but let's add a 3rd. Number 1, if I get pushback, they don't trust me, it's not going to end well.
Right.
So if you don't even trust me to tell me how much, whether you can afford the policy that you're asking for, if you're not willing to share your like liquid asset information, you don't trust me. And it's always company, product, person. Great company, great product. I don't like Brad Allan. You're dead in the water, right? You have to have all 3. You can't kind of have some of the 3. You need all 3. So when I ask that, I know whether they trust me, which I do pretty good. I mean, I look like a nice guy. I got gray hair. I move slow. Seems like a likable guy.
Build a lot of rapport to kind of like, how much, if so?
I don't build much rapport out of the gate because I may not be there even for a minute, but I build rapport as I go through the financial inventory. Number 2 is I want to know if they can make the monthly premium that I'm about to recommend to them. Like if you make 5K, spend 4K, and you have 1K left over and you only have $300 in the bank, it's like, what's going on here? You should at least have the 1K. What's happening? So, and then the other thing is that sometimes they say, oh, I have 200,000 in the bank. It's like,
there we go.
Wow, I would have never known that if I hadn't asked. And it's like, well, then why is all that sitting in the bank? Did you get an inheritance? Are you about to buy some big asset? Because it's like 0 interest. You're leaving about 5 to 6% interest without risk on the table. Let me talk to you about a fixed indexed annuity. They're like, whoa, that's fantastic. Yeah, that's way better getting 5 or 6% interest with no risk as opposed to 0. Are you kidding?
That verbiage, you learn that over time. It sounds like from the financial inventory, you're finding ways to uncover the premium where you're not maybe adding to, but you're simply reallocating the money to be paying for the life insurance.
100%.
And do you use the financial inventory in a different way? Because we all have about the same. What is it that makes your use of it different? Is it the questions you ask? Is it the way you say it? What do you think is a difference maker?
So I think it's both what I say and how I say it. So, I mean, I speak with confidence because I've got experience, but I didn't when I started. So I didn't ask as good of questions, and I certainly didn't ask them as well. And that comes with time and experience and plugging into training for sure. Confidence is so important because it builds trust between you. It's not rapport. It's like rapport on steroids. Nobody's going to move money with you if they don't trust you.
Right.
And if they trust you and they see no value in what you're saying, they're not going to move money. So as soon as value exceeds cost and they trust you, you've got a shot. But if you ask the wrong questions or you don't ask enough questions, you may place a $50 policy in that house and it could have been 5,000. Because you just didn't ask the right question.
And confidence is what keeps people from asking the right questions. So you got to get good at becoming a professional question asker. Would you agree that's the difference maker between top producer and mediocre is the questions that are asked?
I think the number one reason people don't make it in our industry is faith.
Tell us more, please.
So they don't have faith in themselves.
Hmm.
They don't believe they can do it. I didn't believe I could do it. That's why I was vacuuming the carpet. By the way, I'm not really big on vacuuming the carpet. I was just like, more afraid of the phone than I was of vacuuming the carpet again, because I didn't really believe in my ability to do this job. I had never done it before. I had no reason to think that I could do it. And somebody telling me, oh, anyone can do it, that didn't do it for me. It's like, well, that may be anybody, but that's not me. Right. I've been at this 14 months and I got a big goose egg for sales. Right. And so it's a mental numbers game, but I always say mental numbers game, not numbers. And then you have to have a good mindset. No, it's first and foremost mental, because if you believe you can, you can. But if you believe you can't, you can't. And another thing that on the mental side, I was always holding back is that, well, I'm not giving it my all, because then if I fail, it's because I didn't give it my all. No, right? And or it's like, just tell me exactly what to do. And then when I do that and I fail, my ego is safe because it's not me that failed. It was your script that failed. So I'm deflecting responsibility for my own company. How backwards is that? So it's like I own all my wins and all my losses, all of the things that I've really pushed through the anxiety and gotten to the next level, and the times that I haven't, I love them all. Right. I would never put Botox in my face. I earned all these wrinkles. Everyone's got a story. And I deserve these.
How did you stay and cling on to the hope when you were basically rolling a goose egg for 14 months? Like, how did you stay on?
Mama Warbucks. Yeah.
How did you do it? Or were you talking him off the ledge every week?
Pretty much. Yeah.
What is it you saw about either the industry or him that motivated you or gave you the faith to say, you know what, stick and stay?
I just knew who he was. At the core, he loves helping people. He was going to be a priest when he was a teenager because he wanted to help people. And he's not a priest now, but
that ship sailed.
But he genuinely cares about people. He wants to help people. And he's got a wickedly smart brain. And he catches on to things very quickly. And I just knew inside of him that he could do it, because he's got that stubborn streak as well. He doesn't give up. Yeah. Like he's mentally strong. He works on his mental game every single day, even on the weekends. He's mentally fit. And I think that's the most important thing, is to block out all the negativity that's around you and concentrate on the positives in your life and in your job, and practice your skill set. You're just constantly reinventing yourself, and he's a master of his business.
Patty, tell me, what kind of things did you say to talk about the ledge every week? How did you keep him going?
I don't know.
I remember. Yeah. So, it's like, I can't believe I drove 2 hours and the guy slammed the door so hard in my face, my hair would blow back. I quit. This thing's not good. And she's like, really, where else are you going to go that has this kind of opportunity? That it's a numbers game. You're failing on the mental side of this business. So just go be Brad Allan. Look back in the rear view mirror.
Grab a mic real quick and just drop that mic.
right?
Come on, that's nuggets.
Yeah.
So if you're taking notes, this is one of the reasons it's critical. Find it, Patty. We never would have heard of Batman, aka Brad Allan, had he not had Patty, because he would have done it himself, right?
Absolutely.
Find a workout partner that believes in you, that will keep you locked in. Otherwise, who knows whether you're going to quit early, 3 feet from gold. So you start going, let me just transition to some practical stuff so we can make sure they have something to nibble on.
Sure.
I want to talk about some of the things we know about. You go through the financial inventory. First, what are some word tracks that you use specifically in the financial inventory, asking good questions to uncover opportunities? Just give us maybe 2, 3, 4 that you use.
You bet. So, hey, Mac, here's my business card. What I do is on the front, and who I do it with is on the back. I'm an independent agent. I'm the boss. I don't answer to anyone. And I've got lots of options. We're going to go over your budget first so that we know what's affordable. But I don't know if any one of my many A-rated companies would even take you until I get through some questions. So just give me a couple of minutes, if you will. And then I go into the financial inventory, and I'm constantly building rapport, looking for connection points, building credibility. I'm the boss. I've been in thousands of these. I would lose my license and go to jail if I don't put you in a better spot. I'm really only measured by suitability. And I promise, I'm not going to put you outside your budget. So it will be comfortable. And my job, you're lucky that I'm a broker, because my job is to get you the most coverage for the least cost. But let's say that, you've got $1,000 left over discretionary income each month. We're going to cap your budget between 10 and 15% of whatever that number is. And so your budget's going to be like $100 to $150 if you've got $1,000 discretionary. And so wouldn't you agree, Mac, that putting 10% aside to manage your liabilities and protect your family, doesn't that make sense? I mean, it does for most of the people I sit with.
Yeah, absolutely.
So knowing that, now we know our budget. What we don't know is whether or not anybody will take it. And that's my job, is to make sure that I can find somebody that will take your $100, and that it like there's more than $100 worth of value to you for the $100 you're putting out. If we can do that, we should move forward. Would you agree?
Yeah.
And so getting people to say, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I can do that. 10%. Oh, and everybody does that? Okay, yeah, I could do that. Everybody's different. Everybody's family's unique. I have to put you in a better spot. You don't even pay me. I got lots of options. I'm just trying to make sure that I don't go to jail or lose my license for making a bad recommendation. So I take my job super seriously. And, believe it or not, I genuinely care about the people I sit with. And that seems to work pretty well, those word tracks and that tone as I say these things. And if somebody pushes back, it's like, you don't need to know that. I just pick up stakes and I walk.
You leave, like you actually pick up, you're out.
I'm out. Yeah, I had a guy walk in my office last week or a week or two ago, maybe it's 2 weeks ago. And he said, I want to see your options. I got $1 million and I want to see what you got. And it's like, great. Here's some coffee. His wife was with him. We were sitting down and I went into the financial inventory and I said, what's household income? And he kind of went like this. It's like, I don't know, 5,000. So it's like, that was a lie. It's like, oh, okay, whatever. That's not the first time I've been lied to. I'm pretty good at, like BS detector, right? And it's like, what do we have for, like, do you guys own your house or do you make payments? It's like, well, we make payments. So what would that be? It's like, wait a minute, why are we even talking about this? Just show me what you got. And so he was taking control of my appointment.
Right.
Oh, yeah, you don't do that.
Don't do that.
2 people cannot steer the car. Only one person can grab the wheel. You try to grab my wheel, we're going to end up in the ditch and I may die. So it's like, it's my car. So I said, if you can't like share the information, we're going to have to stop here. And it's like, seriously? You don't want my $1 million? And there's 10,000 people that would take my $1 million and they wouldn't ask any of these questions. And I said, with all due respect, sir, I'm not one of them. So that's hard. Let me tell you, Mac, when somebody wants to put $1 million in your pocket and you're like, no, actually, unless I know it's the suitable recommendation that I would be making. And if I have no data to make my recommendation, that's just more risk than I'm willing to take on. You got to hold your ground. You lose control on the phone or in an appointment and you're sunk. There's only one person that can drive the appointment. It may be their house, but for that hour you're there, it's your appointment. You're in control. Otherwise, you're not going to get anything done.
Structure is so critical, Brad. I heard people say that you got to decide what kind of store are you running. Are you running Walmart or Macy's? Walmart will accept junk that Macy's will not, or Nordstrom's or whatever else. And you have to draw the line. But would you agree structure is the difference between a 10, 20, 30, 60, 100 family a month agent, whether it be for appointment or for your business?
We talk about it all the time. We feel like we're in Groundhog's Day with Bill Murray. It's like, oh, and there's the nut that just fell. And I kind of know what it's going to be like. There's always variation, but that for us, it brings a lot of peace of mind. And more confidence to invest more in the business because we know there's a consistent, solid ROI. If we keep our structure and our schedule very consistent, then we have consistent input to our process. Our output is equally consistent. So when we're on the roll of like doing $1 million a month in annuities, if we don't do $1 million a month in annuities, it's kind of like, what happened here?
Wow. Love
it.
Let me throw you some rapid fire questions as we wrap up. Objections. I mean, the phones is the hardest thing for people. Obviously, you got to keep control. Do you still make dials or do you have a combination? Okay, let's do a quick role play. There are only 4 objections you get normally: busy, didn't fill it out, not interested, or they don't remember, right? Depending on the lead type. But how do you handle your, you ring. I say hello.
Hello.
Oh no, you call me.
I'm the agent. Okay.
You call me.
I thought I was going to get a break there for a second. All right, ring.
Hello.
Yeah, hey Mac, this is Brad Allan here in Maricopa County. I'm just following up on the request you had sent in to protect your retirement account. Just real quick, are you still at 123 Main Street?
Yeah. What's this about?
You had submitted a request on Facebook for retirement income, and that's my specialty. Again, I'm Brad Allan. I'm here in Maricopa County. I have a couple of offices, one in Scottsdale and one in Phoenix, but it's my job to respond to the request come in. Do you remember sending that in?
Not really.
Okay, no, that happens. I mean, I click on all kinds of stuff on the internet, but I only click on stuff that actually entered my mind at the time. Are you getting close to retirement?
Yeah, I'm about there.
Okay, so, well, in retirement, you've got basically the way that it works is you've got accumulation and preservation. Mm-hmm. If you're still accumulating, but you're close to preservation, that's where I really shine. I make sure and secure and guarantee funds that are going to be available in your retirement years. And my 30-minute sessions are complimentary. So I'm local, it's free. And, like lawyers, guns, and money, I'm money. So I'm a good guy to know. It's probably 30 minutes worth your time. So are you good on Tuesdays or Wednesdays? What would typically be better for you?
I'll do Tuesdays. Boom, booked. Let's go with the same situation. Hey, I'm kind of busy right now, Brad.
Oh, me too. This is actually what I do for a living. So what time do you get off work then, Mac?
4. Can you call me then?
Absolutely. So, but real quick, at 4 o'clock, we're going to be setting an appointment for me to get you the information you requested. Understand, right? You remember sending it?
Yeah, that's fine. I gotta get back to work.
Okay, so when you see this number come across your phone, my name's Brad Allan. I'm not a telemarketer. I'm actually responding to something that you sent in. And I appreciate being busy because this is how I feed my family. I'm here to help you. And so I'll give you a ring back at 4.
Oh, I love it. Notice he just kept his composure, his cadence. Didn't speed up. That's good. Hey, I'm not interested, Brad. I'm not interested anymore.
So, yeah, I've done easily 100,000 of these conversations, and I've heard that before. I'm curious, you're not interested because you just took care of it, or you don't think that you would qualify, afford it? What changed in between when you sent your request in and now?
I just had so many calls.
Yeah, I hate that. Man, I hate that. So I usually don't get caught up in the same day somebody sends in a request. That's why I waited a week before I called you. So just so you know, I'm not a pusher. I am the owner. I'm a broker with lots of options. And unless I can put you in a markedly better place for sending in this request, no business will happen. So I'm just here to make sure that I find out what you can afford, and more importantly, what you can qualify for within that budget. And I only need about 2 minutes. I've done a lot of this. If I can't put you in a better spot in 2 minutes, then we're going to just say thanks for playing. But can you carve out 2 minutes for me?
Yes, I can do that.
Okay. All right. Tuesday or Wednesday, blah, blah, blah.
Well done, man. Hey, we're going to cap off, guys, by throwing just 2 questions, and we're going to throw this to Patty since she talked him off the ledge so often. You should be a professional negotiator, Patty, by the way. We had someone asking, what is the #1 piece of advice you have for a new agent that struggles with consistency, emotional and work consistency?
Well, they say that habits are created within 30 days. So I would say get your list of things down that you can do on a consistent basis every day. Like the time you get up, eat, exercise, whatever you do, make sure it's consistent. Work on your mental attitude. Do some meditation, stretching, breathing, watch your posture. Just be consistent. Get a schedule together and do it for 30 days. And that is the key to being consistent and being successful.
Love it.
Get that strategy together.
Brad? Same question.
Don't disagree with Patty. Right? Yeah.
Awesome. Hey, appreciate you guys. Go ahead.
I would just say that, we love you guys. We really appreciate you being so generous with your time whenever we see you. I mean, it's just from across the room, all of a sudden the smile just goes on high beam. I don't know what it is, but we just really appreciate you guys. And thank you so much for having us on.
And we love you too, guys. Remember Batman. And remember, you think he's all nice and polished, but he's a babyface assassin. Batman became Batman because he works hard. So appreciate you, Brad. Thank you. Looking forward to seeing you #1 in all facets and helping you grow. Anything you guys need, let us know. Thank you, guys. See you guys next week. We'll see you at the top.
All right.
Bye-bye.